My god, is the Banner Saga gorgeous! I know it's subjective and it won't be to everyone's tastes, but I love the art style to this game. It looks like a highly polished throwback to such 70s cartoons as the animated Lord of the Rings, giving it a real nostalgic feel. The colourful characters stand out on the largely white backdrops, and the smooth battle animation is a joy to watch. But enough about the aesthetics and onto the game itself. The Banner Saga is a blend of a tactical grid-based RPG and a journey management simulator, which some might say is part and parcel with RPGs, but I'll expand on that later. It's set in a Viking world decimated by a lack of sun, as various settlements struggle to survive with resources, power, and paper-thin alliances with neighbouring settlements. Combat and travel scenes are broken up by often lengthy cutscenes involving large amounts of dialogue and tough decision making that will affect the outcome of the game, resembling games like Dragon Age or Mass Effect. Maybe because this game was made by Stoic, who themselves have several members who were formerly involved with BioWare. The main crux of gameplay though comes in the form of combat, which like most tactics-based RPGs consists of players taking turns to move and attack, or use special skills. Unlike most other games of the type, each character only has one unique skill, which may seem like it limits diversity in play. However, this is not the case, as players may use their skill points, or in this case willpower, to increase their unit's base move or attack score, creating a system where players can gamble willpower and use it beyond using skills to gain an extra advantage elsewhere in battle. Characters will also get the option when attacking to whittle down the opponent's armour or strength. Strength represents both the hit points of the unit and their base strength, so you must attack the strength to not only down a unit, but to also weaken their attack, because let's face it, an injured man isn't going to hit as hard. This does not mean that armour can be ignored. Some enemies are so heavily armoured that you don't stand much chance of breaking down their strength, leading you to developing tactics where some characters will focus on breaking armour on the front lines, while the archers will attack the strength from the rear. This, however, is also flawed as the levelling up system is based on kills per character, so when a certain number of kills is reached, you may promote that character. This means that if your archers get all the kills, your tanks at the front won't be able to level up and will become too weak to bear the brunt of the damage. It's a clever system that means that you must find a balance to the way you play the game. After you get the option to promote your character, you must spend renown points to buy the next level. These are obtained by defeating enemies, winning battles, and making decisions outside of battle that affect your clan. On promotion, the character can gain points to add to their stats, improve their skill, or become able to equip better items. You can't go crazy with the renown points though, as you will also need these points to buy items and supplies for your caravan, and if you run out of supplies, people die, morale drops, and your effectiveness in combat will decline. It's a game where you're constantly weighing up the pros and cons and trying to make the best possible decision at that point in time and for the future. You also have to take care of your characters in combat. If you throw them to the wolves and get them knocked out, they will become injured and take stat penalties if you use them before they're fully recovered. There are also war scenes, which involve you making a decision on how your clan attack a larger group of enemies, but these tend to boil down to yet another standard battle with the option of fighting more and more enemies to reduce the number of casualties your army takes. It almost just feels like a survival mode added into play, but again requires you to judge just how much damage your party can take in order to keep your unplayable faction of your clan alive. A little more on your clan and your caravan now. These are the elements a lot of people may find boring in the game, but the idea of carrying both an army and their families on your back empowers the player with responsibilities that they can influence but not necessarily control. The travel events are slow but set a rather harrowing atmosphere that I rather enjoy. As you travel, your supplies will dwindle, and if they get too low, your morale will take a hit and people will die, also affecting your effectiveness in the war scenes. Your fellow travellers will also provide events during travel which again will often lead to yet more decision making, forcing you to either play the generous leader at the expense of supplies and at time having your generosity tested, but your clan will generally have a high morale in this case, or you can play as the authoritarian that no one will mess with a tight purse string but less loved by your people. During your travels, you can improve morale by setting up camp, where you can manage your heroes to get your levelling up done and equip items. You can enter a training mode by fighting a mock battle, or you can simply rest, improving morale but forcing your supplies to take an extra day's hit. Every now and again, you can also engage your comrades and give them a pep talk, or a talking down to. I won't say too much about the story as I don't want to spoil it, but elements of it feel inspired by Dragon Age and Game of Thrones, and the menace our heroes face, the dredge, seem to be a similar kind of threat to the Darkspawn in Dragon Age. The storyline follows a rather tenuous alliance between humans and Varl, a race of giants. You play a number of heroes who you'll play as at different times, and your emotional investment in these characters is rather significant. Every character has a distinct personality, and they are all rather interesting, each with their own character and sense of humour. What's worse is that these characters you bond with are also fairly vulnerable, and you may get a few nasty shocks along the way. Lastly, the soundtrack complements the game well, and makes great use of minimalistic undertones and full orchestra scores when needed. The Banner Saga probably won't appeal to everybody, but for people that like games that take a little time and thinking, you will find an enriching experience here, filled with both charm and a gritty, harsh story of survival in an ever-growing hostile environment. The Banner Saga is available on PC and Mac right now and has plans for a future PS4 and Xbox One release, though with a date still unannounced and the game almost a year into its original release, I wouldn't hold my breath. This is, however, one of my standout games from 2014, and the decisions you didn't make on your first play offer the chance to go back and play through a number of times. So let's hope you console owners get the opportunity to try it out. Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked it, hopefully you'll click that like button, or if you're feeling especially generous, subscribe. I also have these videos you might like to try out, and I hope to see you next time.